So this mysterious frog killer actually swept its way like a wave, killing everything in its path.
Yeah, in a matter of 5 years, it swept right up. I mean, there were thousands of frogs here.
Whatever this mysterious killer is, it's on the move, and it's spreading quickly.
I mean, he's not even really trying to escape.
No.
Look at that.
Wow, he's not looking good. Looks like he's having trouble, huh?
No, he doesn't look good at all.
Yeah, man.
If this were a healthy frog, he'd immediately turn himself over as soon as I lay him on his back.
Yeah, this is some of the typical symptoms that we see with these frogs that are dying up here. They get rigor in the muscles. They don't do the riding response correctly. They're totally lethargic. Now, you don't see any discoloration or anything, but obviously something's very wrong with this frog. When we first started finding dying frogs like this, we had no idea what was going on. And this is not something that herpetologists find naturally in nature. You don't find dead frogs.
So then, Vince, what was it? What's killing these frogs?
Well, we were pulling our hair out, trying to figure out what was going on here. The entire scientific community could not figure out what was happening. And finally, someone looked very carefully at the skin, and they found out that the skin was infected with a microorganism, and it was a fungus.
A fungus?
Yeah, an aquatic fungus. It's called Batrachochytrium dendrobatitis.
The fungus lives in the water. It decomposes dead plants and animals. But a new strain has recently emerged that can penetrate the skin of living frogs and salamanders. Amphibian skin is really remarkable. It's so permeable that water and oxygen can pass through it, but this makes it easy for the fungus to get inside too. The skin reacts by going into overdrive, producing extra layers of cells until the skin is so thick that the frog literally can't breathe or absorb water through its skin. Ultimately, the frog dies from a disease called chytrid. In this one lake, the numbers have dropped from 850 frogs to only 15 in a single season.
What's the prognosis here?
It's not good. I think if you come back in a few months, you won't find any.
So, is there anything you can do?
Well, we're experimenting with some antifungal treatments of these animals out here in the wild. And that's the best we can do right now.
So really, we're on the front lines when it comes to trying to deal with this epidemic.
The situation is so desperate that Vance is single-handedly trying to save the frogs one by one.
Hey, we got frogs right here.
Look at this.
Wow, he's not even resisting. Look at that.
Look at that. Amazing.
He's experimenting with the fungicide treatment that he hopes will buy them some time to build up their own immunity.
That looks good, though.
It's a simple but daring plan. First, he inserts a tiny pit tack under the skin of an infected frog so that he can identify this frog in the future.
Well, it's really important for us to know whether these experimental treatments are working or not. And by keeping track of the infection dynamics on each individual, we'll know whether it worked or not.
Then, the frog gets to take a bath in fungicide.
So what's happening here is that the fungicide is killing off the infection of the frog, and we're trying to give the frog enough of a window of opportunity to build up its own defenses.
So to build up its resistance.
Exactly, to the disease. And then we're going to release him back into the lake, and hopefully he'll have enough of his own defenses now to fight off the disease.
All right.
But we won't know whether the treatment is actually working until the end of the season. Saving the mountain yellow-legged frog seems almost impossible. Vance must find a way to stop the fungus from moving up the valley. It won't be long before every lake is infected.
We're now about to head to the top of the basin, to the only lake in this area that is not infected by the deadly chytrid fungus. It still has a healthy population of frogs. So we're going to move through a chytrid-free zone, and the last thing we want to do is carry the chytrid fungus on our feet. How much water?
All it takes is just one drop of infected water.
Yeah, that's how we isolate our areas.
But there is a weapon available for fighting the fungus.
Capful.
Yeah,
Bleach.
that's all you need. We just need a weak bleach solution.
What scientists have discovered is that the simple act of disinfecting their shoes and equipment will help slow the spread of chytrid.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Okay, we're kitchen free. Look at these guys.
The difference is immediately clear. Healthy frogs are everywhere.
Yeah?
No, these guys are quick, man. These guys.
Oh, here's two right here. Look at this. Here's another one. Look at this guy. Come here, buddy. Here, we got this nice one.
Here you go. I got one too. Look at this.
Nice.
And these frogs, though, they're different. They're alert.
Yep.
They're quick. And I think this is what a yellow-legged frog
It's supposed to look like.
supposed to look
yeah,
like.
you
It's
bet.
supposed to behave
These
like.
guys are looking good.
At last, I get to see some healthy frogs.
There's a bunch of tadpoles right there. Let's catch some tadpoles. Just avoid those sandy areas. See those big black guys? Those are our friends. Just a few years ago, there were tens of thousands of frogs in this basin. And now we're down to this lake right here. There's probably maybe 200 frogs here.
It's not just yellow-legged frogs that are in trouble here. Kittredge seems to be threatening all amphibians in the park.
You get this water seeping over the...
All that is, except one. The Pacific chorus tree frog.
Come here, come on, buddy.
For some unexplained reason, there are still loads of them living up here in the Sierras.
You can hear them. I mean, this pond is filled with these chorus tree frogs, and it is the classic ribbit.
Well, here's the really interesting thing. These guys, they live in the exact same place where the yellow-legged frogs live, and they're not dying the way that the yellow-legged frogs are.
Which begs the question, what do these tree frogs have that the yellow-legged frog does not have?
We still don't know the answer to that question. You know, they must have some different kind of defense. That's a question we desperately have to answer.
It's time for me to leave and continue my investigation. But I'm going to come back later in the season to see how these frogs are doing. One thing's for sure, my few days in the mountains have made me realize the enormous challenge scientists face if they're going to save the world's amphibians.
It seems as though nothing is out of reach of the deadly chytrid fungus, and it may be just a matter of time before all the unique and wondrous species of amphibians, the frogs and the salamanders that live here in this national park could be gone forever. The great question is how did the deadly chytrid fungus get here? To understand that, that's where I'm off to next. Come on.